Hello and welcome from the radio station, Radio Bemowa FM. Hi, I'm Laura. I want to tell you how I ended up being a radio host, a radio presenter. It's been a while since I started, and it's December 2025, and I started in March 2025, and I still haven't really told you how it happened. The radio show that I host is called English Sanctuary, and it's on Tuesdays, every other Tuesday, and we start at 10 p.m., we finish at midnight, and it's 2 hours of me talking in Polish about English, about learning English, about English lyrics, and also about the pronunciation of English, vocabulary, grammar, all that jazz, everything you know me from, everything you know about me and my passion for linguistics and languages is what you get in Polish inside the English Sanctuary radio show. So if you want to learn more about me as an English teacher, you can go to my website, you can check out my courses, American Accent Academy, Advanced Grammar University, How to Learn Languages. All of those can be found at the link in the description box below. In this video, I want to explain how I got here, how I ended up being a radio host, and I have recorded this particular video 3 times now. This is the 3rd time. The first 2 were in Polish, and I couldn't find the exact frame that I wanted to use. I couldn't find everything was wrong, like the lights were wrong, the mic was wrong, everything was wrong. And for months I've been thinking, like, I think I should come by the radio station and actually film it at the radio. And because of the nature of my show, it starts at 10 p.m. and it's a Tuesday, and I usually had so much work to do, so many things to get done that many times I couldn't come to the radio station appropriately, like early enough to film something like right now. And I'm using this one Thursday that I have off to come to the radio station and to record why and how I got here. So enjoy, and I'm not going to edit this video that much. I'm going into my flow. Like, when you are a live radio presenter, your perspective kind of switches, because when I came here from my content creation background, I suddenly, thank God, I've been trained with like Instagram live streams or like live workshops or live masterclasses or live courses. I've been trained, and also teaching like in person or one-to-one. I've been trained. So when it came to me speaking on air live without any cuts, without anything, like, okay, I'm going to say that over, I was naturally nervous. I was speaking in Polish, so I was naturally nervous because I'm so much better at expressing myself in English than I am in Polish. And I also talked about it recently in an interview, but that's something that's neither here nor there. I'll tell you more about it in a different video. So when it comes to me being here and speaking live, I figured that I'm gonna just tell you how it all happened, and if you like this video, please give it a like. And if you want to learn more about me, what I do, you can check out my channel and you can subscribe. This is gonna be so helpful. Thank you so much for supporting everything that I do. You can also follow me on Instagram. The beginning of 2025, I had an idea. My process of learning to play the guitar. So I picked up the guitar for the first time in October 2024, and I started to learn so many different songs and chords, and I loved it, and I still am playing. So I had this idea that I wanted to create an event. I wanted to organize a space, produce a space, like create something together with, I don't know, a cafe or some kind of like auditorium. I wanted to create something that would be a live experience of me bringing my beginner guitar skills with my guitar, bringing it to an English class, like an English lesson, but flipping it on its head. So I wanted people to come to a live show that would be like a combination of talking about English, like today we'll be talking about the conditionals, or today we'll be talking about articles, and that would be like an hour live show mixed with me trying to play the guitar and showing people that, look, I'm not a professional guitar player, but we can play some tunes, we can play some songs, and we can try to listen to the lyrics, and we can try to sing the lyrics. And because we talked about the conditional, I chose this song specifically because it has the second conditional in this sentence in the second verse. When we are singing this song, you can see how this grammar rule is applied in the structure of the song, what it contributes to, like if it's like what it brings to the song, like why did the person who wrote this song, why did they choose to use this in a sentence? Like I wanted to analyze lyrics live with people with my beginner guitar skills to show people that they don't have to be perfect to speak English. That was meant to be my visual and my auditory example. And I had this idea at the beginning of 2025, and I actually emailed a few places in Warsaw, because this is where I currently still am. And I got one response and then silence. And I was like, I know that this idea has to be much more precise, because I had this general idea of a live show, but I didn't know what it would be like. Would it be comedy? Would it be teaching live? Like, I had no idea. So I had this thought that I wanted to make it happen somehow. I wanted to be live in front of people and talk to people and help people. Then in February 2025, I was getting ready to talk about my accent and speaking challenge. If you're watching this and you don't know what the accent and speaking challenge is, it's basically a 7-day free challenge that I run every single year around February. And, you know, I talk about it on my social media, helping people with their pronunciation, with their accent, and with their speaking skills in English. So I was getting ready to make videos about it, promote it, invite people to join. It's free. You won't lose anything if you join. And I had been doing that for 4 years with the challenge, so I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. I knew what I wanted to talk about, what the benefits of the challenge are, how the challenge is structured, because I structured it myself. Like, everything is my idea. So I wanted to talk about it more. And if I'm completely honest, it was the time when I was still actively trying to get out of my depression, and my PTSD was wreaking havoc on my life. And one day I woke up and I said to myself, I can't do it like this. Like, I can't talk about it, because my feelings, my emotions, and my everyday experience is not something that people like probably know about, because I actually had to force myself to be on social media at that time. I really needed to push myself to even be on it, because I just wanted to disappear sometimes. And one day, after a particularly cathartic group therapy session for trauma survivors, they told me that if I am struggling to be promoting my course, that I can just talk about anything. Like, if I'm struggling with something, maybe I should talk about that. And I had my reservations about it. I said, I don't know if me talking about my trauma is going to attract the people that I want inside the challenge. Like, isn't that going to be like counterproductive? And they said, well, at least you will start talking about it. Maybe it will help someone. You don't have to be perfect on social media, right? So this is what I did. I ended up filming a video that got 700,000 views of me just being fucking tired and being over it, being over pretending that I was okay. And at that time, I wasn't okay, and I made that video. In a few days, it got 100,000 views. So many people commented on it, so many people shared, so many people opened up as well. The only time that I received so many messages that were so open and heartwarming, and people were just like feeling like they could talk to me about something that had happened to them, the only time that it ever happened before was after my 1 year without my mom video, where if you go to that video and you read the comments, it's basically people just going through a loss and people trying to support one another. And since I made that video, I've been getting so many comments and DMs about it too, like how it helped them. But that video that I made was different. Like the one that I made on my Instagram in February 2025, it was completely different. It was me just basically being furious, fucking furious in Polish for the first time ever in my entire career. And it blew up. One of the things that happened as a result of it blowing up was I got one message to which I replied, and we started talking. That was like a personal message about something that like my video like opened something for that person. Or maybe it was just like, hey, you're very brave because nobody has the courage to talk about this stuff on Instagram. And I was like, thanks. And I'm talking about it without the emotions that I was in at that time. But trust me, the reason why I'm making this video for the third time is because the previous two, I was too emotional. And I was like, I can't put it out. So, we were talking with that person that messaged me, and from one thing to another, I got a link to listen to a radio show. And I was like, okay, I may listen to it, but I was kind of bold. Like I was feeling kind of bold because I was also getting a lot of hate comments from people who were telling me that trauma is not real and that I was an attention whore and that I was a victim, still in my victim mode. And I was, for the first time in my life, talking back, and I was good at it and I was feeling myself. So I responded to that person sending me the link to listen to their radio show. I was like, hey, I can be your guest if you want. Just like threw it into the conversation as if it was nothing. And I didn't think too much of it. And in response, I got, well, I can get you your own show if you want. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Why? Me? But we started talking, and I was like, actually, you know what? I have this idea for a show that I originally had for like something else, but I already have an idea. And he was like, great, here's the email to the radio coordinator, and you can email him with your idea and see what happens. And I was like, you don't even know me. And he was like, I saw a few of your posts. I can see that you're a creator, so you're probably going to be good at it anyway, so you might as well try. And I was like, thanks. That's actually amazing. I emailed the coordinator. I got a response, and then I was invited here for a conversation. I'm saying here because I was actually invited to come here to the radio station. So I came here for a conversation, and on that day, I already had my debut, which you can already see and watch here on YouTube, right? So that was my debut. I was just presenting, just having fun with it, trying my best, but I was so scared. I was terrified. I was shaking, but it went well. And then that was a Tuesday, March 4th. And then I came here again for the second time. And that was a Friday, March 7th. And I did it again. I did 2 hours of presenting, and it was awesome. You can also watch it here. And I wasn't perfect, but I was learning. That was my second ever time speaking live in Polish to an audience, to radio listeners. I enjoyed it, and I was offered a regular spot. The first original spot was Tuesdays, 10 p.m., 1 hour. Now we switched it to Tuesdays, 10 p.m., 2 hours, but not every single Tuesday, every other Tuesday, because, so far I have done 23 shows, and I did 20 shows, and I realized that it's unsustainable for me to come every single week with a full hour show presenting it live at 10 p.m. It was a lot of responsibility. I felt sometimes like life was too much. Let me remind you, I was still in my depression, my PTSD, CPTSD symptoms just running wild, and it was too much sometimes to show up weekly for something. And even if it was talking about music, I still treated it, and I still do. I treat it very seriously. So the reason why I treat it seriously is because I learned English primarily through songs ever since I was a child. My mom played music in English in my house, which was not the norm. Like, she was listening to the radio, but she was also like listening to what she heard on the radio, and she was, using something on the computer to have music on the computer, and the music was there. And I listened to a lot of music in English when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. And I was always curious about the lyrics, what they mean, why they are being sung. I wanted to hear familiar words. Like, if I can catch a word and I understand it, that was the biggest accomplishment. And later on, as time went on and I started to learn more about English, I realized how much potential there is in songs when it comes to listening and learning and speaking, because I was always speaking, like singing too. Like, the reason why my pronunciation is so clear, why I'm so fluent, why I connect the sounds so well, and I have been doing that my whole life, and also I was already so fluent and connecting all of the sounds so well before I started my linguistics degree, that's because all my life I've been singing. Not professionally, not even with a teacher, but with myself. Like, I've always been listening and singing. I've been trying to replicate the sounds that I heard. And when it comes to me hosting the English Sanctuary show, I really approach it very seriously from the perspective of the program. Like, when I'm running the show, like when I'm talking on the show, I'm trying to be, not as serious, and I'm definitely not as serious. Like, when it comes to me, like the experience of me speaking Polish is so crazy that I will just leave it for a different video. But like, sometimes I just don't know who I am when I speak Polish, to be completely honest with you. So when I have to talk about English in Polish, it's so much more like, it's so much weirder sometimes, and sometimes it's like trying to find the perfect word, and I end up saying the English word anyway, and then I'm like, I'm sorry to everyone, because I'm just like, I know that my English brain is like stronger than my Polish brain. I'm saying that live as I'm hosting the show, right? So like, I approach the program, how I create a playlist for a particular show, everything is up to me. Like, I have the full creative control. I can do anything I want except for swearing and except for making anything political, right? So I can do anything I want. And with all of that freedom, I still treat it as something that could be used as a supplement to the school curriculum. My idea for the English Sanctuary show is so much bigger than I originally thought. The radio helped give my idea form because, like I said, at the beginning of the year, I just had a rough idea of what maybe the radio show would be, or like what the English Sanctuary could be, but then the radio gave me form. And now English Sanctuary is the radio show for me. Like, it can become different things as a brand maybe, but like, it started as a show on the radio, Radio Bemowa FM, and it will continue to be here on the radio. One fun thing, I don't get paid. I'm a volunteer. Everyone is at the radio. This is a cultural institution. It's a passion project for everyone who's working here. And I still treat it very seriously. And why do I treat it so seriously, you might ask? Well, I care about the quality of education. The reason why I don't half-ass things, the reason why I'm not a typical influencer making a typical influencer type of content is because I care about the quality of my message, the quality of what I'm sharing, the video quality, the audio quality. And I've been doing that for 6 years with different results. When I think about the English Sanctuary show, I want everyone who tunes in for that 1 or 2 hours to get value from it, So I don't think about like me coming to the radio and just talking about my favorite songs and like saying this is an amazing song and it's in English and you can listen to it now and it's playing. I think about every single song that I choose for the playlist, and I think about what it has in common with other songs. And first of all, I come up with a theme. And I sometimes come up with a theme. Sometimes the theme finds me. I also want to keep it seasonal, but not too much. So, for example, the only show that I did in December, I did not talk about Christmas songs because I didn't want to. Instead, I focused on the end of the year because that was my final show of the year, and every single streaming platform released their wrapped things. So I wanted to talk about the songs that I listened to the most this year and why, and specifically from the language perspective, from the linguistics perspective, why that song was particularly interesting to me or what someone could learn from it. So the theme finds me or I find the theme. And then the same with the songs. I either have the playlist in my head immediately, like if the topic is clear, like Oasis, or if it's like grammar is very easy because I've learned grammar through songs. So for example, when I thought about the present perfect tense, I already had like a list of songs that I know have either the present perfect simple or continuous in it. So I come up with the theme, then I have the songs. Or sometimes I listen to a song and I'm like, oh, that song has this in it. Okay, so I'm going to create a whole theme because this song inspired me. This is going to be happening soon with one of the playlists, one of the shows, because I listened to a song and I was like, oh, I didn't know it has it, this particular thing that I'm looking for. So this is going to be turned into a whole show. And then I also have one. Okay, so I told you that I have the creative freedom, right? But the only like condition that there is here in terms of me running an 1 hour or then a 2-hour show is that the majority of the show must be the music. So it's 2 hours, 1 hour needs to be at least like dedicated to the music playing. So it's not a like Laura show, Laura talking, but the focus is the music because the radio is the music. So I'm like, okay, I care about the music. I respect the music. I respect the language. We are going to do that. And then it's all about the distribution of the songs throughout the hour or throughout the 2 hours and me selecting the piece of the song or the lyrics that I want to discuss or the theme or maybe something that I also learned along the way. I got the feedback that people wanted to learn more about the artists and the songs specifically that I was choosing because I listen to a lot of music that is not very popular in Poland, not among everyone. So a lot of like niche, indie rock, alternative. For example, Peach Pit. Many people don't know Peach Pit and I love them and I fell in love with them and I went to their show this year. It was a tiny venue. It was so intimate, so brilliant. Peach Pit, if you're listening to this in any way, shape, or form, I want to have you on my show. I want to interview you guys. You are incredible. I love your music. When I talk about bands like that, people are like, wow, I didn't know. Or for example, Joe, and I was talking about his upcoming show and I played End of Beginning. And before that, I said that this was Steve from Stranger Things. One of the listeners said, I had no idea he was playing music. Like I didn't know he was a musician. So there is a lot to talk about when you go outside of your social media bubble. And I have been getting the feedback. I have been applying the feedback. At first, we also had learning materials at the beginning of the show, but then at the start of season 2, so show number 21, I heard the feedback and I was like, okay, so we're dropping the materials. Nobody needs them right now. So I have been really obsessed with helping people as much as I can. And like I said, okay, so I was talking about structuring. So there is also the limit of maximum 8 minutes of talking between songs. Sometimes I went over this limit and I did 9 minutes, 10 minutes, but that's the maximum because I can see the time and I always track the time. There have been some like incidents, like I couldn't play a song and I was terrified because there was silence, and silence on air is never good. Or there was one situation where when I thought someone was hacking the computers, and I had heard that had happened before, that we had gotten hackers, and that turned out to be one of the radio show hosts who was just doing something like running the computer remotely, like he was doing something on the computer remotely. I was like, oh my God, thank God. So yeah, there have been a few things that happened. And when it comes to the whole thing on the radio, like me being on the radio, I feel so good. Not many of you may know this, but I actually started on YouTube in 2013 at the age of 18. And I started in Polish, and I was doing music CD reviews, like actual album reviews, only for a few videos before I had to give up on that because my personal life switched. Like I was changing my majors at the time, and if you know that story, you know what happened. If you don't, you can look around my channel. So yeah, I started originally as a music commentator, but then I decided not to pursue it because I had to focus on my life. And to be talking about music live, to be talking about the reasons why I love a particular song in terms of the language, and really like dive into the nitty-gritty, talk about the weird pronunciation things, talk about, oh, did you hear that at the end? Oh, that was so good. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it meant? Like, do you know why the singer chose to do this? Like, I love talking about this stuff. In Polish, it's a bit difficult, but I'm trying. I'm doing my best. Also, I said that I switched from 1 hour to 2 hours, and the 2-hour format is so much better because I was so stressed at the beginning of every single show. I was so stressed that I would not be able to say everything that I wanted to say, and I needed to remind myself, Laura, you always have another show. You can always continue the conversation. But I was like, I want to have like 1 hour that is like, it has the complete structure, like beginning, middle, and end. I'm an academic, you know, and I was in the departmental team for quality, for providing the quality of education. So I really care about this stuff. I was an academic writing tutor. Like, I care about the structure. But then I needed to be like, okay, Laura, it's not supposed to be your job. It's supposed to be your project. And then the radio coordinator also noticed how stressed I was. And he was like, Laura, chill. It's supposed to be fun for you. And I was like, how? No, but it was just because I cared so much. I cared so much, and you could hear it. You could actually hear it in every single show. And you can still hear it because the last aspect is me recording every single show. Since the very beginning, which you can also see here on YouTube, I cared about documenting not only my journey, but also the show. Here's the thing. This is a neighborhood radio station. It's a very small radio station, and it's a non-profit radio station, and also we don't get paid. There is nobody to be a social media manager who records everyone that is like, today on this show in Radio Bemowo FM. Nobody does that because we all have to do it ourselves. Like, I only have my phone and my camera and my mic and everything that I have, and my light and my tripod. I bring it. This is my stuff. This is my equipment that I bring here to record more content. And I don't treat it as content because when you think about like classic radio stations, like public radio stations, they all document their shows. If you go to BBC, if you go to any radio station's social media right now, they have the whole production team that films everything horizontally, vertically. There is a social media team that does the vertical clips for socials. There is a person who does the captions. There is a person who does the animations. There's the person who actually sets up 3 different angles depending on how many guests you're going to have on the show. Like, they have dedicated paid teams for that, employed by the radio station, by the broadcasting station. We don't have that. because this is a very small station. And I heard from the coordinator at the very beginning, he encouraged me to do as much as I can, but he said that I'm on my own because everyone is on their own. So if I want to make it into some kind of like series on my own socials, I can. It's all mine. I own everything that I do, but it's just like, it's up to me. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, nobody's going to help me with it. And I accepted that because I'm a solo creator and I have been, and I'm like, okay, great. So every single Tuesday when I came here, I set up everything myself, my camera, my tripod. I don't have to set up my mic because I'm speaking to a mic. I can just press record and I'm going to have the official audio recording from the station. So that's great. I don't have to worry about the audio quality. However, what I have to worry about is my voice because sometimes I speak too quietly. And I also learned, and I'm still learning to modulate my voice, and I'm taking vocal lessons as well. So that helps me speak with a little more reverb or speaking from the chest as well. And then something that nobody forced me to do was also the socials and the vertical clips. So what you will see even in English Sanctuary 1 and also in my debuts is that not only was I filming horizontally with my DSLR, I also had my phone propped up against something recording me vertically. I wanted to use those clips for social media, and I wanted to also put those videos, the vertical videos, inside the horizontal videos just to make it more visually appealing, because here's the thing, it's a radio show. It's meant to be an audio show. So I wanted to bring the video element into that. And I did, but I didn't want to make it boring. I didn't want to make it me just speaking to the microphone, because the reality is it's just me speaking to a microphone. So I wanted to make it a little bit more dynamic, since, like I told you, I don't have the team who can set up the 3 cameras in 3 different angles from 3 different angles, and then someone who will edit it for me. I will edit it, or my team will edit it, but my team is very small, and we are already snowed under, and I'm also like expanding my team right now. So I had this vision, like from the idea, like teeny tiny morsel of an idea at the beginning of the year. Suddenly in March 11th, I was already leading my first radio show. I already was running it. I was already filming it. I had everything here. I prepared my playlist. I created the whole theme. It was like the hello theme, and it was great. And I also created I'm going to play around with the formats. So it's not like I'm going to introduce anything I want. I'm going to take out anything I want, right? So I introduced this wild card element in the first show, which was a Polish artist saying something in English in a song is already valid to be featured on English Sanctuary. So I chose Chałupy Welcome To, and I just loved it so much. I had I had a blast. It was so fun. And also something that I also wanted to incorporate into every single one of my shows was breathing. I really wanted to have this element of breathing together, because I am also a breathwork teacher and I incorporate breathwork into my programs. So at the very beginning of every show, we do one inhale and one exhale. We didn't do it at the beginning of this video though. So how about we do one now, and then we will exhale at the very end. How about that? So let's all take one deep breath in together. And a long breath out. Awesome. Yeah, this is what I do in the show. And yeah, I've been producing it myself, recording it myself, producing it here at the radio station. But everything that I do myself, except for the final edit, which my team supports me with. And last but not least, the show number 1 is already out. I have 22 more to go from this year, but they will be coming out. Trust me. It might be the case that maybe the next shows will coincide with the actual timing of the shows from last year. So maybe in March 2026, we will air the March 2025 episodes. I don't care, because nobody asks me to do this. Nobody is expecting anything from me. It's my my chance, and I want to be able to contribute to the wide English teaching world, music world, radio world. I really want to contribute something. So I am not in a rush. I want to release the episodes when the time is right, because they are already recorded. They're here. They're going to come out. And they're excellent. The music is incredible. This is the music that I listen to, so it's always going to be incredible. I want to release the episodes on Spotify in 2 different ways. Number 1 is just me being on air as separate podcast episodes, and then those episodes, taking them into a playlist and intertwining the songs in between me speaking. So I really want to, and I already have done that, and it's amazing. And it's an amazing listening experience, because I really wanted to recreate. I can't do it, like, I can't publish the whole radio show as it is for copyright reasons, right? So I just cut everything that is me talking out. I put it out as podcast episodes, and then the music, the songs are in between. So the exact radio show listening experience is recreated. And that was something that was also so important to me. I've been looking for that type of structure for a long time, and I finally found it a few months ago. And when I found it, I was like, yes, this is going to be the publishing way. Like, this is how I'm going to publish it. So English Sanctuary is already on Spotify, and here on YouTube, all of the radio entries are combined into one video. So the first episodes are going to be half an hour, and then starting from season 2, it's going to be an hour of me speaking, and there are breaks. So you can stop the video at any point, and you can go to the description box to find the playlist, not the playlist that is created as the show is created, but also like a different playlist if you want just music. So you pause the video, you go to the playlist, or you find the song yourself and you play it to yourself, and then you come back to the video of me being on the show and you listen to me again, and then you pause and you listen to the song. It's a DIY project, so you can do it any way you want. It's for you as well to have fun with it, for you to be interacting with the songs, interacting with the music, interacting with the show. I really wanted to make it as fun as possible for everyone, including myself, since I heard that, Laura, it's meant to be fun for you. I was like, oh, yeah, right. I just came here with all of my PTSD and depression, and I was like, I'm going to create this, and it's going to be me being a teacher, so it needs to be incredible for my students. And then everyone was like, okay, Laura, you're so good already. Please chill. It's not supposed to be stressful. It's supposed to be fun. So I finally made it fun. I finally chilled out. And I'm actually so grateful that I'm here. Truly, like, I'm so grateful that I'm here. So many things came out of me being here. Sometimes I get to go to concerts. Sometimes I go to places and I get to interview people. Like, even when I went to see Oasis at Wembley, someone approached me and they were like, we are a radio show from Colombia. Like, do you want to be interviewed for our social media? I was like, I'm a radio show host too. I'm from Poland. And that all happened. And when I tell people that I'm on the radio, like, it's a great thing. And the most important thing is that when I think about my younger self, when I think about my inner child, and I'm like talking to this 6-year-old Laura, that she is now doing the exact thing that she was doing when she was 6, researching, finding out why this song is the way it is, listening to it, having fun, just being herself. She's doing that again, but people are listening, and it's not her only in her room. It's her sharing what she is making of the songs with people, and it's incredible. That definitely helped me with my mental health, for sure. And I also love the people here at the radio. The radio station here plays mostly rock music, like very general rock music, but also like all types of music, blues, ska, pop, like so many other things as well. The people who have their own radio shows here are some of the most incredible people that I've met since I moved to Warsaw. But not only that, like, I think when you meet passionate people, when you meet people who do it for the passion, not for the money, because this is the reality here, the quality of being is different. The quality of conversation is different. Everyone is just so, like, everyone is such a music nerd. Everyone is just so passionate about the technical aspects of music, the production, the lyrics, the sound. I found my people, and my path, starting from my small town in the Lower Silesia, Lubin, which I think you're going to hear more about in the future from me. High school, studying finance in Wrocław, dropping out, having one of the most traumatic events of my life, switching to English as my major, studying English, becoming the top student, becoming the person that everyone wanted to have lessons with, becoming the person who was everyone's tutor in linguistics. I was chosen by the professors at my university to be the student representative, the departmental team for providing quality of education. That was something that happened. And then my mom passed away before I graduated, so I never actually felt like I graduated. And then I started my channel. And everything else you can watch on this channel, everything that you don't know about, because I wasn't making videos in 3 years, is me just struggling with my mental health. And then the story starts at the very beginning of this video, me explaining where I was and how the radio found me after I released my emotions into the world on Instagram. 700,000 people have seen it, and that was my second ever viral video after my Why I Speak and Understand 8 Languages, which was in English, and it was on YouTube. And now we're here. And I'm also planning to make a documentary about one aspect of music, the music industry. And things are happening. Things are finally coming together. And the radio and the whole English sanctuary journey, adventure, has been healing for me, because music is healing. Music is healing. And I also talk about it in my show. You can listen to English Sanctuary. You can always find some information on the actual radio Instagram on Tuesday, because some Tuesdays, just to be up to date when the show is going to be aired. So you can listen to it in Polish, and then you can also tune in here on YouTube, and also here on Spotify, and also anywhere else. If you want to support the English Sanctuary mission, and if you want to support me, leave a comment. Tell me if you're going to listen, if you can listen because you speak Polish or not. Just let me know how you've been in the comments. It's been a while. Leave a like, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see more of my daily life. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.